that girl.
Please, sir.
Ellen, where is Miss Hare? It's nearly 6:30. My shaving water.
Please, sir. Miss Dorothy's not in the house. It's my belief that she's gone.
Gone? How can she be gone?
Her bed's not been slept in.
Hello, kids.
Hello.
You on the beach, kids?
On the beach.
On the beach, you know, on the bum.
On the...
What I meant to say, kid, is, have you got any money?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Oh,
what do you mean you don't
believe
know?
I've got a penny.
Blimey, £5 If you're rich, you are, here. Are you on the game?
On the game.
My dear cousin, I trust you are well and that our small difference of opinion over what was, after all, a tiny sum of money is finally water under the bridge.
Oh, no offence, kid, only asking. But listen, see, you're lucky you bumped into me. I'm the only honest bloke around here. I'll look after you, guard the money like. Come on, before someone... I've got a proposition for you. Standard! Morning, Standard!
Rector's daughter.
What's that, kid?
I write to you, I must confess, on a completely different matter for help and perhaps advice. You will have read of your cousin Dorothy's disappearance.
I can read.
Oh, I knew you was a lady as soon as I clapped eyes on you.
Although disappearance is a somewhat romantic term for wandering off in the small hours with no thought to her father's breakfast, and I with Holy Communion to attend to.
Rector's daughter believed in Paris. What's Paris?
How should I know? Buy a paper if you like. No use to me, of course, but could keep us warm on the way down.
Down?
Oppin, if you're going, that is.
Oppin.
Oppin, down in Kent.
Oh, pops for beer.
That's the ticket. Coming on fine, you are. Now, say you chum in with me, partners, see. I'll put up the brains and you put up the money. How about it, kid? I'll treat you right. What's your name, by the way?
Oh, I don't know.
Christ, you don't know your own bleeding name.
Ellen. My name's Ellen. I'm sorry. I'm feeling a little... Oh, you'll have to excuse me.
It's okay, kid. You take your time to think straight. I'm Charlie. Pleased to make your acquaintance. But listen, see, I was off down to Kent Oppit before I bumped into you, and...
Down?
Yeah, and as I say...
Down to Kent?
Yeah, and as I say, I've got a job promised. Blessington's Farm, Lower Morsworth. Only, I'm a little bit in the Mulligatawny, see? 35 miles it is. We'll have to do it on the Toby, and hut for a Tommy and skipper at nights as well. But with you invested in the enterprise, we can get the Tuppenny tram to Bromley. And that's 15 miles done. How about it, kid?
What's Tommy?
Tommy means food, you know, scram.
So you want me to come hot picking with you?
That's the Mulligatawny. We'll find a few others on the way down and chum in 4 to a bin. 4 to a bin is best for picking. And with a lesson in paying tuppence a bushel, you'll turn your 10 bob a week easy. How about it, kid? Only the tram leaves from the Elephant at 4, and that's a bit of a stroll from here.
Where are we?
Well, I don't actually know. Nowhere near the Elephant, that's for sure. How about it, kid? Are you on or are you off?
All right, I'll come.
It appears that Dorothy was last seen very late at night, just over a week ago, in the company of a man of poor reputation, loose fellow, private means, calls himself a painter, father of 3 illegitimate children, and proud of it by all accounts. The town is awash with gossip and filthy innuendo, and someone, I have no idea who, seems to have informed the lower type of Sunday newspaper. Reporters have been turning up at the gate, asking the most impertinent questions. Well, she has made her sinful bed, and she must lie in it.
I can't go on. Can we stop and rest, please?
That's what we're doing, girl.
Shouldn't we be trying to find somewhere to stay for the night?
Here we are. Plenty of nice dry leaves. Luckily I picked up this bit of sacking. There we go. Me lady's boudoir.
What, here?
You sleep as sound as if you're in your own bed.
Under a hedge?
What was you expecting, this boy hotel? Oh, we'll be all right as long as it don't rain. And you didn't want to sleep in those woods, remember?
Oh, I don't like woods.
Why not? Woods is good for shelter and for firewood.
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. Change that bloody record, girl.
Oh, I didn't know my feet could be so sore. Are you sure we'll get work tomorrow? We've tried it must be 6 farms today.
Well, it's not my fault old Blessington didn't recall me from last year.
Did remember you? You said you stole from his orchard.
Yeah, but did he remember all the hard work I done for him? Bloody skinflint. Setting the dogs on us. What a liberty. Oh, don't you worry, girl. We'll get a nice comfy billet tomorrow. Show the old bastard, eh, Ellen? Ellen? Oh, that's right, girl. You get some sleep. Got a long day tomorrow. Oh, we'll get in. Don't you worry. Oh, plenty of nice warm straw. A hot mug of tea. A hunk of bread and a big hot rasher of bacon. Oh, God. I shouldn't think about food when we're down to our last cold spell. And you've slept out as much as I have. Oh.
Father! Breakfast is ready! Oh, I'm sorry it's late.
I do wish, Dorothy, that you would make some effort to get Ellen out of bed in the mornings, or else be a little more punctual yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry, Father. The kitchen fire kept going out as an absolute beast to light at times.
I fail to understand why you should be making breakfast at all.
Oh, Father. Well, you know she's very... Oh, I shouldn't refer to her as she.
I see no need to be scrupulous where members of the lower classes are concerned.
Father, Ellen is very good when she is up. It's just...
But the devil and all his angels can't get her out of bed before 7. I know. The consequence is that she snores on while you skivvy in the kitchen, which is presumably why you are dressed as a serving girl at the breakfast table. The issue is surely one of respect, man and master and so on. When we were in Kent, I remember, the villagers used to tip their hats to me, even if they did call me parson.
I can hardly remember Kent.
Oh, it was before your mother died. Some remote village, the most ignorant peasants you can imagine, but at least they knew their place.
Oh, we're getting on with the costumes for Charles I.
Yet another school play. A necessary evil, I suppose. What's this one in aid of?
The church organ fund. Oh, I still don't understand why we had to get a new one when the old one was perfectly sound, really.
It may have been perfectly sound, but it hardly sounded perfectly. Made a noise like a cow with asthma. What did you say this piece of amateur dramatics was about?
Charles I. Oh, I do wish we'd chosen something easier. The armour's a dreadful job to make. I think next time we really must have a Greek or a Roman play, something where they only have to wear togas.
Bacon yet again, I see. I know, of course, that bacon for breakfast is an English institution, almost as old as parliamentary government. But don't you think we might occasionally have a change, Dorothy?
Oh, bacon's so cheap now, it seems a sin not to buy it. Well, this is only 5 pence a pound, and I saw some quite decent-looking bacon as low as 3p.
Ah, Danish, I suppose. What a variety of Danish invasions we have had in this country. First with fire and sword, and now with their abominable cheap bacon. Which has been responsible for more deaths, I wonder. Aren't you having any bacon?
Not this morning.
How odd. You were singing its praises a moment ago.
A small penance, Father. I said a rude word yesterday. It's a funny sort of day, isn't it?
What is funny?
Well, I mean, it was chilly and misty earlier and now the sun's coming out and it's getting quite warm.
Is there anything particularly funny about that?
Oh, I do wish you'd come and take a look at the back garden, Father. The runner beans are doing splendidly. Oh, I'm going to keep all the best of them for the Harvest Festival, of course. I thought it would look so nice if we decorated the pulpit with festoons of runner beans and a few tomatoes hanging in among them.
My dear Dorothy, is it really necessary to begin worrying me about the Harvest Festival already?
Sorry, Father, I don't mean to worry you.
Do you suppose it is any pleasure to me to have to preach my sermon among festoons of runner beans? I am not a greengrocer. It quite puts me off my breakfast to think of it. When is the wretched thing due to happen?
September the 16th.
That's nearly a month hence. For heaven's sake, let me forget about it a while longer. I suppose we must have this ridiculous business every year, tickling the fancy of every amateur gardener in the parish. But don't let's think about it any more than is absolutely necessary.
Father?
What is it?
Father, I have something I want to ask you, something important.
Now, my dear Dorothy, I know that tone. You are going to ask me for money again, is that it?
Oh, yes, Father, because we really...
Well, I can save you the trouble. I have no money at all. Absolutely none until the next quarter. You have had your allowance and I can't give you a halfpenny more. It's quite useless to come worrying me now.
Oh, Father, I don't mean to worry you, but I must have some money soon. I simply must. We owe money to nearly every tradesman in town. It's got to the point where some mornings I'm ashamed to walk down the high street. Do you know what the butcher's bill is?
Of course not. It's hardly any concern of mine.
Isn't it? It's nearly £22.
What of it?
Father, please. The bill has been mounting up for 7 months. We must pay it, or at least off to pay a part of it. It's so unfair to Mr. Cardinal to keep him waiting for his money like that.
Nonsense, my dear child. These people expect to be kept waiting for their money. They like it. It brings them more in the end.
Oh, Father, I can't see it as you do. I can't. It's so dreadful to be in debt, even if it isn't actually wrong. It makes me so ashamed. Oh, when I go into Mr. Cardinal's shop, he speaks to me so shortly and makes me wait after the other customers, all because our bill's been mounting up the whole time. So I daren't stop ordering from him. I believe he'd have us declared bankrupt if I did.
What? Do you mean to say the fellow's been impertinent to you?
I didn't say that, Father. You can't blame him for being angry when his bill's not paid.
I most certainly can blame him. It is so abominable how these people take it upon themselves to behave nowadays. Abominable. But there you are, you see. That is what we have come to expect in this delightful century. That is democracy, or progress, as they are pleased to call it. Don't order from the fellow again. March straight into his shop and tell him you are taking your account elsewhere.
Father, please.
That's the only way to treat these people.
Father, that won't settle anything. Surely we can find him some way to pay him at least something. Or perhaps you could... I mean, are you sure you couldn't sell some of your shares?
My dear child, don't talk to me about selling shares. I have just had the most disagreeable news from town. My Sumatra tins have dropped from 7 and 4pence to 6 and a penny.
Oh, that sounds bad.
It is indeed bad. I must tell the broker to sell out before they drop any further.
Well, but if you sell out, you'll have some ready money, won't you? Perhaps we could clear some of the debts.
Dorothy, you know nothing of these matters. I must reinvest in something more hopeful. It's the only way of getting my money back.
You're absolutely certain you can't let me have any money, Father?
Not a penny. Christmas possibly, but it's doubtful even then. I don't know what all the fuss is about. Doesn't everyone owe money to his tradesmen? I distinctly remember when I was up at Oxford, my father had still not paid some of his own bills of 30 years earlier. Your cousin Tom, the baronet, owed £7,000 before he came into his money. He told me so himself. No, I shall buy 500 United Celanese.
Beg your pardon, miss.
Oh yes, Robin, what is it? I must get down the high street. It's only closing today.
I've been wanting to speak to you, Miss Particular.
Yes? Perhaps I'll get some eggs and make an omelette for lunch. Oh, if they're cheap.
Please, miss, it's they bells. They're splintering through that there belfry floor in a way that makes you fair shudder to look at them. They'll be down atop us before we know where we are. I was only up that belfry this morning, and I tell you, I came down faster than I went up when I saw how that floor was busting underneath them.
Oh, Proggins, I don't know what we can do. I really don't. We've simply no money at all. Even if we do make anything out of the school children's play, it's all got to go to the church organ fund. The organ people really are getting quite nasty about their bill. Have you spoken to my father?
Yes, miss. He don't make nothing of it. That there belfry's been standing 500 years, he says. We can trust it to stay up a few years longer.
I don't know what we can do. I really don't. Oh, of course. There is the jumble sale week after next. We must pray that will be a success, Proggins. Pray that it will bring us £5 at least. I know we will get the money somehow if we really and truly pray for it.
Yes, miss.
Oh, I'll speak to Father and tell him how serious things are. I think perhaps the best thing we can do will be to get a special subscription just for the bells alone. Well, there's no knowing. We might make £5. Those new people from London who've taken the manor, they're terribly well to do with a motor car and everything. Do you think perhaps if they ask them to start the subscription of £5, they might give it to us?
Oh, now you take my word, miss. Don't you say nothing about it. If those townsfolk thought as that pa wasn't safe, we'd never get them inside the church again.
Dear, I suppose not. Oh, I must be going. Oh, Mrs. Hayes, good morning. Hello, Dorothy, dear. Lovely today, isn't it?
Good heavens, it's Dorothy.
What? Oh, Mr. Warburton, I had a feeling I was going to meet you today.
By the pricking of your thumbs, I presume. And how are you? But what need is there to ask? You look more bewitching than ever.
Don't touch me, please.
Why ever not?
I don't like it.
Oh, my dear Dorothy, who could resist a little pinch on such a lovely morning? It's a reflex action. And besides, it's your fault for looking so ravishing. Only you smile a little more.
When did you get back to Night Hill? It's over 2 months since I've seen you.
Oh, the day before yesterday. But this is only a flying visit. I'm off again tomorrow, taking the kids to Brittany. The bastards, you know.
You have to revert your children in that way. I'll be there for you and their mother aren't married.
Not much chance of that happening now the stupid bitch has run out of
Please, don't shoot back at us on the high street. Where are the children if their mother isn't here?
Oh, I managed to part them with relatives in London. I'm picking them up tomorrow.
Well, I must be off. I've got shopping and parish
Just
work
a moment,
to
just a
do.
moment. It was a bit of luck, my meeting you. I was hoping we'd run into each other.
Oh, why?
Well, there's this chap coming to dinner tonight. He's a famous author.
Really? What's his name?
Oh, Ford, Austin Ford, the novelist.
What's he famous for?
Oh, Dorothy, surely you've heard of Austin Ford.
No.
Austin Ford! He wrote The Grocer and the Concubine. Surely you've read The Grocer and the Concubine.
No, I'm afraid I haven't. Oh, it's shameful, I know, because I get so little time to read. The grocer and the...
Concubine. You do know what a concubine is?
Not so loud, please. Of course I do.
Dorothy, you really are neglecting yourself. You really ought to read The Fishmonger and the Concubine. It's hot stuff, I assure you. Real high-class pornography.
Well, really? Dear.
Just the sort of thing you need to take the taste of the girl guides out of your
Oh, now I
mouth.
do wish you wouldn't say such things. This Mr. Ford doesn't live here in Night Hill,
Oh no,
surely?
he wouldn't live in a hole like this.
Where does he live then?
Oh, he's coming over from Ipswich for dinner tonight. That's why I was looking for you. I thought you might like to meet him. How about your coming to dinner tonight?
Oh, I couldn't possibly. I've got father's supper to see to and 1,000 other things. I shan't be free till 8 o'clock.
Well, come along after dinner then. He's an interesting chap, is Ford. Very au fait with all the Bloomsbury scandal and all that. You'll enjoy meeting him. Do you get out of that church hen coop for a couple of
Are you
hours?
sure Mr. Ford is coming?
Why do you ask that?
Oh, it's just... All right, thank you very much. I'll come round. About 8:30, I expect.
Good. If you can come whilst it's still daylight, so much the better. Remember, Mrs. Semple lives opposite, more's the pity, and you know what a nocturnal witch she is. Oh, in fact, is that her I see outside ye oldie tea shop? I'd best be off. Au revoir.
Oh, Dorothy, dear.
Oh, Mrs. Semple!
I've been so wanting to speak to
So
you.
lovely, Tessie. It really gets me quite
Yes,
hot.
wait a moment.
Oh, I am rather...
I've got something simply dreadful to tell you. Something that will really horrify you.
What is it?
Well, you know that girl who sits in the pew nearest the organ in church? The girl with red hair, a rather pretty girl.
Molly Freeman, the greengrocer's
Yes,
niece.
Molly Freeman. Well, it appears she has been carrying on with several young men.
Several?
Six!
Oh, really?
Yes, and they all come from the sugar beet refinery too. They meet in the woods behind the old manor, and then they end up...
Mrs. Semple, please, I won't listen to such things. Can't be true about Molly Freeman. She's such a nice girl, one of my very best guides. Always so helpful with the church bazaars.
But Dorothy, my dear, I practically saw this with my own eyes, or as good
I
as.
don't care. It's not fair to say such things about people. Even if they were true, it wouldn't be right to repeat such stories. There's quite enough evil in the world without going looking for it.
Looking for it. The trouble is there's so much wickedness going on in this town, one can't help but see it. Look over there, the bakers. Now, I know for a fact that Maggie White, Mr. White's daughter, has borne 2 children to her own brother.
That's nonsense, Mrs. Semple. Mr. White told me she was away training to be a nurse.
You can believe him.
Oh, I really can't stop a moment longer.
Oh, but Dorothy, my dear, there's something else I simply must tell
I've
you.
got 1,000 things to do. I'm really late
It's about that
already.
Mr. Warburton.
Oh,
You were just talking to him.
really am
weren't
in
you?
the most
He's a
terrible
friend
hurry.
of yours, isn't he?
Mrs. Semple,
He's
I'm
just come
sorry.
back from London.
I
and
really
you know,
can't
he's
stop this.
just come back from London.
Mrs.
And you know,
Semple,
actually, I'm
I'm
really
really
particularly
Oh,
wanted to
Mother
tell you this.
Kelly, good morning. I was just... Well, I mean, I did say good morning. I think it's a little rude to... Oh, completely ignore me. Oh.
Oh, why, if it isn't Miss Dorothy.
Mrs. Pither, how have you been keeping? How's your husband?
Pither's up for
Pither?
work, miss. Up at Dr. Thorne's here, digging over the doctor's rose beds for him.
Well, I'm glad to hear he's up
But
and
his
about.
groin still hurts him something cruel, miss. Something cruel. And he's up and down to the privy 3 or 4 times a night. I don't know what's amiss with him, I'm sure I don't.
Oh, that's a shame.
Poor Pither. Fancy him a digging at his age.
Well, I hope you've been keeping a little better yourself, Mrs. Pither.
Oh, there's nothing don't make me better, miss. I shall never get no better, not in this wicked world down here.
You mustn't say that. I hope we shall have you with us for a very long time
Oh,
yet.
miss, you don't know how poorly I've been this week. I've had the rheumatism of coming and going down the backs of my poor old legs. Until there's some mornings, I don't feel I can walk so far as to pull a handful of onions in the garden. Oh, miss, it's a weary world we live in, isn't it, miss?
Oh, yes,
A
but...
weary, sinful world.
We must never forget, Mrs. Pither, that there is a better world coming. This life is only a time of a kind of trial to strengthen us and teach us patience, so we'll be ready for heaven when the time comes.
Oh, no, miss, you said it. It's the thought of heaven that comforts us, that keeps us a-going. Us poor folks gets our just reward in heaven, don't we, miss?
Of course.
When Pither comes home of the night tired and my rheumatism's bad, he says, "Never you mind, my dear. We're not far short of heaven now. Poor in this life and rich in the next. That's the best way, isn't it, Miss Dorothy? Not like them rich folks with their motor cars and fancy houses. That won't save them from the worm that dieth not and the fire that's not quenched." Such a beautiful text, that is.
Of course, we shouldn't wish anyone to hell.
Will you
That's
say
hardly...
a prayer with me, Miss Dorothy? I've been looking forward all morning to a little prayer.
Certainly. Oh, I nearly forgot. Here's a little piece I cut out of the Daily Mail. It's about Angelica tea being good for rheumatism.
Oh, why, you aren't one of the good Lord's sweetest angels.
Oh, not at all. I just thought...
There won't be no rheumatism in heaven, will there, miss?
Oh, I'm sure there won't.
And rest, and peace, and no fetching water from the well and laundering.
Yes, of course.
Well, I'll be sure and take the Angelica tea, miss. And thank you kindly of thinking of me.
Well, it said it was very good.
Oh, it won't do me no good, miss. You don't know how poorly in with my rheumatism. I've had it coming and it going down the backs of my poor old legs. Like a red-hot poker it is. And I don't seem to be able to get at them to rub them properly.
Oh, that's a shame. Is there anything I can do to help Mrs. Pither?
Would it be asking too much, miss, to give me a bit of a rub down while we have our little prayer?
Of course.
There's a bottle of element embrocation over there.
Shirking? Please, Dorothy.
What's that, miss?
Nothing, Mrs. Pither. Just taking the top off the bottle.
Shall we have our little prayer now, miss?
Oh, yes, let's. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, and deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
A bit more life into it, can't you? Don't drone. Say it as if it meant something. And take off that second murder expression.
I ain't murdered anyone, sir.
Don't shout at them, Victor. Percy, come here, please.
I'm rehearsing.
Oh, just remember to hit his armour.
Right. Enter Oliver Cromwell. That's you, Tommy. No, not like that. Do you think Oliver Cromwell would come on slinking like a dog that's just been beaten? Stand up, stick your chest out, scowl. Now go on. Cromwell, halt. I hold a pistol in my hand. Go on.
Miss, Mother said I was to help you, miss.
Oh, well, Percy, stand up, for goodness sake, stand still.
Oh, I'll hold a pistol in my head.
I brought my sweetie.
No, Tommy. No.
Miss, Mother said I was to tell you that she couldn't make my dickens like I told miss.
So ignorant again.
Right, you three. Where's the sound of battle? I want to hear armour clashing and horses galloping. How pathetic. Look, we'll carry on Friday. That means clear out the lot of you. I'm sick of the sight of you.
I was thinking, we might make the helmets out of old bowler hats, or if we can get enough of them. We cut the rims or put on paper rims in the right sort of shape and sew one over.
Oh, Lord, why worry yourself about such things? It's only a school play.
Oh, it's those wretched jackboots that are worrying me the most.
Oh, bother the jackboots. Look, I was wondering if you wouldn't mind speaking to your father for me. Ask him if we can't have a procession sometime next month.
Another procession? What for?
Oh, you can always find an excuse for a procession. There's the Nativity of the Blessed Virgin Mary coming off on the 8th. That's good enough reason for a procession. I've got hold of a splendid hymn that they can all bellow. And we can borrow St. Wedekind's banner.
Which banner is that?
The one with the BVM on it. St. Wedekind's in Middlesbrough. You know the one. Can you ask your father for me?
Oh, best not to ask him and make him angry. He doesn't approve of processions.
But it's been months since we've had a procession, and I've never seen such dead alive services as we have in this place. You think we're a Baptist chapel or something by the way we go on.
Oh, I don't know.
And processions are such fun. Down the aisle, out through the west door, and back in through the south door, with the choir carrying candles behind, and the Boy Scouts in front with the banner. Healthy festival day, blessed day that art hallowed forever. Amen. If I had my way, we'd have a couple of boys swinging jolly good censers of incense at the same time.
Oh, you know how Father dislikes that sort of thing, especially anything to do with the Virgin Mary. He says it's Roman fever and leads to people crossing themselves and goodness knows what.
But dash it, he always puts his foot down when I try and get a bit more life into the services. He won't allow us incense or decent music or proper vestments or anything.
I'm not sure vestments are that important. It's the spirit of the priest that matters.
I suppose so, but the upshot is we can't get enough people to come to church even on Easter Sunday. You look around the church on a Sunday and all you see are the Boy Scouts and the Girl Guides and a few old women.
Oh, I know. It doesn't seem to make any difference what we do. We simply can't get people to come to church anymore. They only come to be married and buried. But I don't think the congregation's actually gone down this year. There were nearly 200 people at Easter Communion.
200? It ought to be 2,000. That's the population of this town. 3/4 of the people in this town haven't even been near a church. They hardly know it exists. And why? Tell me that, why?
Oh, I suppose it's all this science and free thought and all that.
That's your father speaking, I can
Well,
tell.
perhaps, but I happen to agree.
Oh, all this free thought, these so-called atheists like Bertrand Russell and Julian Huxley and all that crowd.
Russell, isn't he the man who's such a clever mathematician or something?
What I'm saying is, why is it we can't get people to come to church in this place? It's because our services are so dreary. What's the point in worshipping if you can't make a proper job of it? By Jove, look at St. Wedekind's. They do things in style. Images of the Virgin.
And what does the bishop say about that?
Oh, they don't care. They just go ahead and defy him.
There's that much incense as well, and you can hardly see what's going on at the altar. I mean, people, well, that's what to turn Roman Catholic and be done with it.
Oh, my dear Dorothy, you ought to be a nonconformist. You really ought. A Plymouth brother or a Plymouth sister, or whatever they're called. I think your favourite hymn might be number 567. O God, I fear thee, thou art very high.
And yours is number 231. I lightly pitched my moving tent a day's march near a Rome.
Oh, touche. Look, I suppose I better be going.
Oh, Victor, have you anything to give to the church jumble sale? If you had a pair of trousers you'd give us, that would be best of all. We can always sell trousers.
Oh, doesn't it make you sick, all this cadging for pennies? Look, I suppose I've got a few books I could let you have. Now, if our services had a bit more life in them so we could get up a proper congregation, don't you see we should...
The books will be splendid. We always have a stall for books, a penny for each book, and nearly all of them get sold. Oh, we simply must make this jumble sale a success, Victor. I've been making special prayers all morning that the weather will be fine.
Oh, yes, the power of prayer. Ah, Miss Foot, good morning.
Hello. Hello, Dorothy. I thought I'd come make myself useful.
Well, see you on Friday, Dorothy.
Did I hear that Victor lambasting you again about the state of your father's services?
Yes, he gets quite heated about matters of doctrine, always writing to the church Times about something or other.
He's only a village school teacher.
Oh, he's a church organist as well. We're lucky to have him, really. He's very good with the children, or at least when it comes to discipline.
What needs doing? When is the play happening anyway?
Oh, a fortnight Saturday.
Heaps of time, surely.
There's so much to be done. The helmets, doublets, swords, jackboots. I've been having nightmares about jackboots. Scabbards, ruffles, wigs, spurs, scenery. Oh, it makes my heart sink just thinking about it.
What about the parents? Don't they offer to help?
Oh, not really. Well, they always promise and back out afterwards. Oh, what's the time? Oh, what does that say? The numbers, they're all wrong.
Perhaps it's 1 o'clock.
Oh, goodness, I must run. I've got 3 omelettes to make and I don't trust them to Ellen. Can you carry on here?
I can come back after dinner if you like.
Oh, you're an angel, Delia.
Nothing else to do. Gosh, Dorothy, is there nothing you can't fashion out of brown paper and glue? What I don't understand is why you take all this on. All this drudgery for a few pennies from the church organ fund. It's a mystery.
It's cold.
Don't be silly, it's a boiling hot day.
Then why am I so cold?
Snuggle up, girl. You'll soon be warm.
What time is it?
Oh, how should I know? Middle of the night, I suppose.
But I mean, I'm not sure what month it is.
It's the beginning of September. That's why we're off hopping.
Why is it so cold?
Oh, you have never spent a night out of doors. I can see that. Nights in England is always cold when you're kidding rough. It's the ground. It sucks the heat right out of you. Just you wait until the dew drops hit your head on a foggy morning, eh? Oh, come here, girl, I'll warm you up. You know what, girl? You're not bad looking.
No, Charlie, don't. No, stop it. Please.
Sorry, girl. Can't blame a chap for trying, eh?
Charlie?
No,
Flyers!
Oh, don't tease me, girl.
No, you mustn't, Charlie. You're frightening me. Stop it. No, you mustn't, Charlie. No, no. How could you? How could you?
But it appears that I couldn't.
How could you be such a brute?
Now lower your voice, please. To answer your question, this kind of behaviour comes very easily to me. You'll understand that when you get to my age. Sit down,
I don't think I
please.
want to sit down.
No more Tarquin and Lucretia business, I promise.
You promise. You know how I hate it when you start. You give your word.
For what my word is worth, I didn't. Dorothy, my dear, can't you see? I try this on with every presentable woman I meet.
You must get rather a lot of snubs.
Oh, I've had my successes as well. How do you think the bastards came into being?
No, I do wish you wouldn't refer to the children that way.
Why ever not? Bastards is what they are.
Hardly kind. They're to blame after all.
Why aren't you married?
Why do you ask that?
Perfectly sane question to ask of a woman still single in her mid-30s.
I can't. I don't believe I ever will get married.
Why not?
I just wouldn't be right for me somehow.
But why? You're not, how shall I put it, one of these women who worships at the altar of Sappho, are you?
Is that some kind of a euphemism?
Oh yes, of course, your sheltered upbringing. How shall I explain? Oh yes, I was at this party in Bloomsbury once, and these women were...
But please don't. I think I do know what you mean. I know you're just trying to shock me. I'm perfectly at ease in male company. That's why I even like talking to you.
Oh, charming.
Oh, you know what I mean. This is a small town. Everyone's so narrow-minded. You've seen something of the world. You're an artist. You can talk about art and so on.
Well, there are times I think I'd be rather more of an artist if I didn't have my 700 a year to lean on.
700?
Oh yeah, hardly a fortune, I know, but it's kept me from honest toil.
I do like coming here and talking to you. If you'd only keep your hands to yourself.
You didn't answer my question.
I know. I can't marry because when...
Because what?
Oh dear, it must be late. I must get going.
Oh no, stay for another drink or some more coffee at least.
Oh no, Daddy. Oh, good heavens, look at the clock. It's nearly 10.
Well, so what if it's
Celia!
nearly 10 o'clock? You're over 21, you've got the key to the door, haven't you?
We have to make some costumes for the children's play. It has to be started tonight. It's in nearly 2 weeks' time and there's plenty of enough time during the day. Oh, good heavens, early communion tomorrow.
That reminds me, why do you spend your life arranging bazaars and fetes and so on, more jumble cells than the rest of English Christendom put together? You can't enjoy it, surely.
We have to raise the money somehow. There's a church organ fund, the bells livery hanging. We shot at nearly everything in the vestry. Have you any idea how much money it costs to run a church?
I haven't a clue, as well you know. I never step inside the place. I think that's partly why you bother with me. I represent a challenge. Heaven rejoices more over one sinner who repents, or something like that. Yeah, a religious fanatic like you would suffer fire and sword to bring me back to the path of
You
righteousness.
sound like Joan of Arc.
Oh, this is not the supper which martyrs is made, eh? No, no, you're the wife of Bath, like all women. You want rule and sway over your husbands and lovers.
You're not my... I don't have any... what you said.
The fact that we're not literally, physically lovers is hardly the point. I am, unless I'm mistaken, the most important man in your life. Well, after your father, of course.
I suppose you are the closest thing I've got to him.
You're a woman. It's only natural that you'd want to control me, to put limits on my freedom.
Aren't you being a little presumptuous? I do have my faith, after all. I do believe that everyone can and should acknowledge God's place in their lives. I believe that you would be a better, even a happier person if you found the love of Christ. I believe this is true of everyone.
And you want to save everyone?
I'm here as a friend, not as a missionary.
Oh, still less in the mission position, eh?
I don't know
Oh,
what
I'm
you
only
mean.
pulling your leg.
I do like coming here and talking to you. Kind of escape for me, a guilty pleasure, as you might put it. Please, have ever you tried all that sort of thing? Even once, well, I should never enter this house again. Now, thank you for the coffee. I really must go.
let me walk you to the gate at least. The simple woman must be asleep by now, although I sometimes think she's rather like the four beasts of the apocalypse, full of eyes and rest not night nor day.
Don't!
I fear no foe, with thee at hand to bless. Ills have no weight, and 'tis no bitterness. Where is death's sting? Where great thy victory? I triumph still if thou abide with me.
You alright, kid?
What? Oh yes, I think so.
You was mumbling in your sleep.
Was there? I was just dreaming, that's all.
What was you dreaming about?
I can't remember.
Try to get some sleep, girl. That's it, just nod off.
Cooey, Dorothy!
Shh, awake, father!
What's that, kid? Are you dreaming again? Go on, get some sleep, that's it, just nod off.
Dorothy, where are you? Are you in the conservatory?
Oh, damn! Profanity, please, Dorothy.
Oh, there you are.
Oh dear, thank goodness you've come. I'm so behind.
Sorry I couldn't get here earlier.
Not so loud, you'll wake father. It's Holy Communion tomorrow morning.
Sorry. Have you seen the moonlight?
Oh, yes, unfortunately. It was as bright as day. Anyone who looked out of their window could see me coming back from my friends.
Have you been seeing that Mr. Warburton again?
Oh, I'm not seeing him, Delia. We're just friends.
He's a rather rakish character, isn't he?
I wouldn't call 3 children out of wedlock rakish, Delia. I'd call it sinful and irresponsible.
He's not exactly what you'd call handsome, is he?
Who's not handsome?
Mr. Warburton. But then I suppose he's a real artist. Free thought and so on. Free love.
Oh, would you get started on the breastplate for that armour? I'll get the glue. Where are my scissors? Jackboots. I simply loathe doing jackboots. They take forever.
Oh, the moon's gone down. I love the moonlight. Did I ever tell you, one night last summer, I went out into the garden dancing wearing nothing but my grandmother's necklace. And then I knelt down in the grass.
Wasn't that rather chilly?
Oh, it was so bright. You could almost see the colours of the flowers. The grass tickled my bottom.
Really?
But it was so beautiful. The moon and the stars looked almost majestic. I felt as if I could have worshipped them as gods in their own right.
Tia, please. Have you been drinking?
I've had a glass of port. Well, 2 actually. What's wrong?
The rectory is hardly the place for these pagan anecdotes. Think what you like, but don't say any such thing to father. This is 200 years ago he would build a great big bonfire and have you burnt at the stake.
He wouldn't dirty his hands. He'd have you do it. You're such a goody two-shoes, I bet you would.
I enjoy my work for the parish.
Just as well, seeing as the amount you do.
I do wish sometimes that father would take a little more interest in parish affairs.
I do wish there were a few more men around. Night Hill's such a stuffy little hole.
It's not exactly Mayfair, I grant you.
I can't even remember the last time I've been to anything like a party. I do so love dancing. I'll be 25 in 3 weeks' time and I've hardly been kissed.
Oh, for that solicitor chap.
Oh, Harold? He's only a solicitor's clerk, actually. He doesn't seem to know what he wants anyway.
What about Victor?
Victor Stone?
Yes. Single at about your age. Well, it's not much money, but he's a gentleman, that matters to you.
It certainly does. It has to. But anyway, you didn't hear from me. But Victor Stone is one of those. You know, one of those.
You mean like Oscar Wilde?
Yes, of course. Didn't you know?
No. How is it that you know?
Oh, everybody knows about Victor. Violet Orford's been after him for simply years and never got anywhere.
Well, perhaps she shouldn't have thrown herself at him quite so forcefully. A bit like you and Harold.
Someone said you're nearly 40, are you?
I'm 36.
Oh, sorry.
Vanity, please, Dorothy.
It's all the responsibility you take on. Makes you look not older exactly, simply more senior. I've never seen you out with anyone. Have you ever been close to anyone?
There was a curious at Father's parish before this one.
Did he pop the question?
Several times.
Tell me, I want to know all the gory details.
Francis Moon, a year or two younger than me, very devout.
Doesn't sound terribly exciting. Did you ever,
What?
Oh, did you do anything?
No, there was never anything like that. Francis was completely honourable. He didn't even mind. He said it wouldn't matter if...
If what?
Poor Francis, he died just a year later.
Of a broken heart!
Don't be silly, he caught pneumonia.
Oh, poor man. I knew someone who died of that. Why wouldn't you marry him?
I wanted to in some ways.
Did you love him?
I cared for him. I certainly cared about him and liked him and so on. He was very nice to talk to.
What was he like?
He was kind and gentle. Very serious. I can't ever call him smiling.
You're not exactly the Cheshire Cat yourself, are you, dear?
Really? Surely I do smile sometimes.
Anyway, this Francis, was he all handsome and dashing?
Oh, not exactly. You would have called him sweet.
Oh.
He wasn't unattractive. The physical side isn't everything after all.
It's pretty important when you think you're going to be sharing the same bed with someone for the rest of your life.
I'm not sure I'm happy talking about matters to do with the marital beds.
Why not?
Oh, it's just late, that's all.
I am tired, Agatha, weary of this intransigence.
Please, Charles, please don't.
I have waited. I have been patient. I have my rights as a husband.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm not well. What can I say to you? Please.
A month!
Charles, you will make me hate you if you do this. I won't forgive you, Charles, ever. Dorothy! Charles!
Go back to bed, child.
Go back to bed, dearest.
I don't think that kind of thing was very important to him. He said it wouldn't matter.
Who? Francis?
But it would, of course, in the end. Best not to talk about it. Least said, soonest mended.
I fail to understand your continued sullenness, Agatha. What took place was regrettable. I admit I forgot myself. But after all, it wasn't anything that hasn't happened between man and wife since, well, for hundreds of years. If you're waiting for me to apologize, I will. There. Now, perhaps we'll have an end to these silences.
Where are we? Oh, goodness, it's damp. They'll catch pneumonia.
It's just the dew. This sacking don't keep the wet out.
Oh, I feel so stiff.
It'll be light soon.
Oh, it's starting to get light already. I can almost see the road.
We'd best get a move on. There'll be hundreds coming from London looking for jobs on the farm. Christ. Murder a cup of tea and a watch.
The rectory.
What's that, kid?
The rectory. The name on that little board with the arrow. There's a house called a rectory. It must be down that lane.
No, that's not where we're off to. Come on. It's full daylight now. Oh, God. My gas is that empty. I'm starving. Come on. You all right, girl? You got that faraway look on your face again. Ellen!
My name's not Ellen. It's Dorothy.
Why was you giving yourself a false name then, eh? You're not on the run, are you?
No, I just couldn't remember my real name until just now.
Do you know what you got, girl? What your problem is?
What?
Magnesia. That's the medical word, that is. You've had a spell where you've gone and forgot all about yourself.
Suppose I have. There's a church.
Where?
In the mist. Perhaps we should go in and say a prayer.
Pray? What for?
Or to help us find work.
Well, I'm not much of a churchgoer myself. And they wouldn't let the likes of us in a nice country church like that. Oh, here, wait. Look at this. Right. Here's the church. Here's the steeple. Open the doors, and there's all the people.
Very good.
I learned that at the orphanage, I did. About all I bloody did learn. Right, come on, girl. Today's the day.
My dearest Tom, thank you for your letter and sympathetic words. I have finally received a letter from Dorothy. She tells some painfully transparent nonsense about having lost her memory and gradually coming to her senses while working in the hop fields of Kent. According to her, the picking season is nearly over, and she will be completely destitute if she doesn't receive some assistance. I must confess I have hesitated to reply. The return address is care of the post office, and she is calling herself Ellen Milborough. I'm not sure whether I should reply to someone using an assumed name. I rather thought that was against the law. I have no idea where she is actually lodging. A cottage of some kind, I suppose.
Well, the baby's definitely yours.
Scratched up for a while, you know. Charlie, can you work your magic with the fire and I'll get a brew on?
Thanks, girl.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph, me poor
Oh,
bones.
there's only bread for lunch. I mean dinner.
Oh, it's all right. I'll get a few bacon bits down in the village for supper, and still got a few of these apples left. Yeah.
Great.
Here. Dorothy, girl, is that you?
Oh.
You must have found another picture.
Good heavens, you've got to be fed up with the story by now.
That's Sunday's bio, full of nothing but lies and sex and scandal, so it is.
Well, Charlie needs it to light a fire. Whose is it?
Mine.
What's it say, girl?
Oh, it's too shameful.
Oh, go on, just give us the juicy bits.
Hang on. I can't read nothing but the headlines nowadays myself. I'm after needing the reading spectacles, but no bugger's going to give me any in this world, that's for sure. Right. Passion drama in country rectory. Parson's daughter and elderly seducer. Embraces of a passionate nature. Well, that's all according to Mrs. Semple. Is she a friend of yours?
Oh, she most certainly is not.
A local busybody, is she?
Oh, I shouldn't be uncharitable. She's a neighbour, likes to gossip.
You can say that again, darling. According to your neighbour, the gossip, you was dressed in scanty attire and clearly under the influence of alcohol.
Oh, heavens.
Dorothy, girl, I didn't know you were such hot stuff.
I'm not.
Just yourself. Would you care to join us for a cup of tea, Mr. Cairns?
You! Stop right there, you!
Charlie's name, Governor.
I don't want to hear your life story. Just tell me where you got them apples. And what's this? Chicken figures? You've been robbing my orchards and stealing my
Oh,
fowl.
please, sir, we didn't. It really
Off
wasn't anything
pickers,
like...
worse than bloody foxes for killing chickens.
Oh, we were awful hungry. We've been pulling down the hops from
Do you know what? I don't give a toss about your poxy apples and your bloody hens. What do you think about that, eh?
I might overlook them apples if they was windfalls, but I'm not having any of your
Oh,
lips.
do you know what? Us bloody off pickers.
All right, so where'd you get them apples?
Do you know what? Just fuck off.
What did you say? I ought to it before I get my gun. Won't be the first time I chase you thieving cockney scum off my land with your asses full of buckshot.
Well, that's that then.
Did you hear that ignorant git calling me a cockney?
Them stairs will be the death of me. Right, here we are, number 29, top floor back. £10 a week.
If you don't mind me saying, it's not very clean for 10 shillings.
Take it or leave it. This is Lambeth Cut, not bloody Mayfair. Besides, you said you needed an address so you could get some money sent. Beggars can't be choosers.
Yes, thank you. Here you are.
Hello, dearie.
Hello.
You new here?
Yes, I've just arrived.
Where you come from?
Kent, we've been hot picking.
How much do you make?
Oh, very little. We were all sacked, I'm ashamed to say.
No shame in that. You talk proper, like a regular lady.
Oh, I think if I
Oh,
was a
God,
reg-
what do you think? Spit it out!
I think if I
Oh,
was
change the bloody record, girl!
Oh, leave her alone, Vi. It's not her fault. She's come down in the world. Anyone can see that. What was he going to say, dearie?
It's just that I've been looking for lodging all day. I've just been walking for 10 hours and nobody would give me a room. I can't understand it.
I can't understand it.
Your problem, my girl, is that you ain't got no luggage. You ain't got so much as an handbag to your name.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Can't get a room with no luggage. Don't you know nothing?
Any landlady takes one look at you and hears that posh voice and sees you ain't got no bags or nothing. She thinks one or two things.
Thinks what?
A, you've been and gone and got yourself knocked up, and there's a baby somewhere.
Is that what it is? Did your fella knock you up and walk out on you? I bet that's what it is, the bastard.
You know,
Or-
I'm not. I've never been.
Or you're on the game.
Like what we are.
Oh, it's nothing like that. I lost my memory, you see.
Oh, I lost my memories. Well, I wish I could lose some of my fucking memories. You're lucky, you are.
What a bloody dungeon Mary put you in. Worst room in the house.
Oh, it's all I can afford.
Here, you're going out tonight.
Oh, I don't think so. I'm too tired.
Thought you wasn't when I saw you having dolled up. If you won the lend of a lipstick, you only got to say the word. Don't spoil the shit for a hay per the top. We're all chums here, ain't we, Vi?
Oh, I see.
She sees.
You're not bad looking either. Oh well, time Vi and Moo's moving. We've got an important business engagement at Leicester's Greatway. You sure don't want to borrow a dab of rouge and powder and come along?
No.
Oh, not big enough for you, are we? Is that it?
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean
appetite.
Thank you. Good night.
I'd write to my old Dave on his bloody address. Give him a piece of my mind, I would. Dear Dave, hope this finds you in good health. You incestuous old skunk!
My dear cousin, I simply haven't had to face a situation like this before. I am rather at a loss. I am still very angry at her walking out in the middle of the night without so much as leaving a note, let alone seeing to her household responsibilities. Warburton, the bohemian character I have told you about, although to be fair he is quite high-born, left for Europe at approximately the same time. So naturally the town scandalmongers leapt to the conclusion that they had eloped together, or something equally vulgar. But he has since returned with his illegitimate brood and maintains he knows nothing whatever about her disappearance. The latest I have heard is that she has found her way to London after holidaying in the hop fields of Kent. She's asked for money, not very much, but I simply don't know what to do. It's all so improper.
Oh, excuse me, madam, I'm sorry to trouble you. I'm hungry and I have no money. Have you any coppers you could spare me? Thank you, madam. I really am most grateful.
£5 in a meal. I bet you're hungry, aren't you?
No!
Do you want to eat tonight or not?
Please, leave me alone. No, leave me alone. I swear I'll call a policeman. Help! Help!
I don't know why I'm bothering anyway. You're that dirty. I bet your fanny stinks. Stinks to high heaven.
Excuse me, madam, I'm sorry to bother you.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
I'm sorry.
One more word, and I shall call the constable and have you put in charge. Out of my way!
My dear cousin, I enclose, apart from Dorothy's letter for your opinion, a cheque for £10. I shall write to her in the course of the next few days, advising her to apply to you at the Sloane Square address where she may cash the cheque. As you are her cousin and a gentleman of some standing and influence in town, I should be very grateful if you would make some small effort to find her employment suitable to what has become her station.
Oh, dearie. Soon as I set my eyes on you, I knew you was a lady born and bred. You and me knows what it is to come down in the world, haven't we, dearie?
Michael, is that you, Michael?
Of course, it ain't the same for you and me as what it is for some of these others round here. But one thing I do thank God for is that my dear old mother never lived to see this day. Because if she ever had...
Hold it. Seems go right through. What do you be like this all night?
Of course, at the time I'm referring to, we still had our little sweet and tobacco business on the corner, you understand?
I say, good evening. I happen to hear you speak. What's where you're plotting your arse, mate? Oh, I'm a cuff above this lot. Perhaps we might know some of the same people. I went to Eton, you know. Jolly boating weather. Play harvest breeze. Keep the noise down, mate.
Is that you, Michael, dear?
Oh, not exactly ladies, these two, are they? Although, of course, a true gentleman treats all members of the fairer sex as such, even if he can tell the difference. He pretends he can't, which raises the issue of my own provenance, I suppose. May I offer you a drink?
Oh, no,
Oh,
thank
I
you.
said, but you, sir, much obliged. Ah, you're a Christian gentleman, so you are.
You say more than you know, dear lady. Do you know what my friends say to me? They say, tall boys, you are past redemption. That's quite true. I am past redemption. You will still be in our faces. If it's not a terribly rude question, why are you sleeping al fresco, as it were?
It's a long story. I lost my memory. Had some kind of
Breakdown? Nervous breakdown?
I guess
guess you could call it that.
Oh, all the rage nowadays. No family, I suppose. No rich maids and aunts in the country to look after you, feed you, beef to you, send you on walks over the fields.
I left home while I was... I think my father has disowned me.
Oh, think nothing of it, dear lady. Everyone I ever knew has disowned me. Past redemption, you see. Will I ever again walk across Maytime fields to my own church, I wonder?
Did you lose your job?
You could say that. I say that breeze does cut through one.
So cold.
The strange thing is, I was rather good at my job, as you call it, preaching, chanting, intoning.
Just like Michael. He was real loving, Michael was. More of a nature's gentleman than yourself, Your Honour, but tender and true.
Did you used to be a clergyman then, sir?
I swear to you, I never looked at another man since I met him outside that slaughterhouse, and he gave me 2 pounds of sausages he'd nicked from the international stores for his supper.
No question of use to me, madam. Once a priest, always a priest, even though uncropped we call it, and dog collar, publicly torn off by the bishop.
How come you lost your job then, eh? Usual story, schoolgirls in the family way.
Girls is a euphemism. Only the usual flannel-bloomed hunters of the unmarried clergy. Spinsters, growing bony and desperate. Oh dear, was that comment something of a faux pas in present company? But you must admit, there is a demon that enters into them at 35. The Sunday Spy holds me quite a feature of the case. Missing tenants, upraised romance, intimate revelations. I even warranted an open letter editorial to a skunk in shepherd's clothing. Yes, that's a pity because I was marked out for all great things. Gators in the family, if you understand me.
God, it's so cold.
Oh, here, come on, girl. Never you mind.
Now, you would not think it, would you, that the time has been when this unworthy backside tinted the plush cushion of a cathedral stall. Yes.
Hold! I believe you. Skippering in the long grass with no blanket to keep you warm and dew fit to drown you, and then you can't get a fire going in the morning and you've got to tap the milkman up before you can have a drum of tea. I've had some of it when me and Michael was on with Toby.
Happy days, happy days. My ivied church under the sheltering hillside, my library, cook and house parlour maid. Oh, sweet Maisie.
I know a couple of rims actually. As pants the hot for cooling streams, when eaten in the chase.
Roast beef, yes. Villagers tugging their forelocks.
Oh, go on about food, mate.
Sunday mornings, in my open stall, that church smell of powdered corpses. Summer evenings, in my study, yes, sipping my port, fumes of a good pipe tobacco.
Oh, no one's actually got a fag, I suppose.
Oh, I tell you, do enjoy the occasional cigarette, even though I know it ain't exactly ladylike, but you know, a little bit of what you fancy, my dear mother used to say.
And he was real bold, Michael was. You know, many a time we'd break into other people's houses and kip in the best beds. Other people's got homes, he'd say. Why shouldn't we have them too?
My curate days are gone forever. Morris dances in aid of on the village green. My boys' cricket club are complete with purity lectures on the evils of masturbation. Yes. Household hints for the parish magazine. Discarded fountain pen fillers can be used as enemas for queries.
Jesus, lover of my soul, let me to thy bosom fly.
Happy days, happy days. Outings with the girl guides in Epping Forest. Buns and ginger pop under the green elms. Absolute Harriers, Hecuba, Diglior. And to think there were 21 bottles of Clos Saint-Jacques in my cellar the night the baby was born. Where was I? Fleeing for London on the milk train.
God! God!
Oh, why call on God, you snivelling deathbed penitents? Stick to your guns! Call on Satan as I do! Hail to thee, Lucifer, Prince you shall be warned in the heat of unholy matrimony, or I'm no priest. If any of you know cause or just impediment why these two persons may not be joined together in holy matrimony.
He's marrying us, girl. Dorothy, he's marrying us.
My mother used to say my wedding day was the happiest day of my life. And to look on it as compensation for the miseries of the honeymoon.
Dearly beloved brethren, we're gathered together in the sight of God for the physical and spiritual union of these two woeful tramps. He has afflicted them with dirt and cold, hunger and solitude, the pox, the itch and head louse. Their bodies stink. Their destiny is but a pauper's grave. The smallest of dignities, a second-hand wedding dress, a weekend's honeymoon in the Isle of Wight. No, they're as out of reach as the moon. Therefore, with demons and archdemons and all the company of hell, do you, chappie, take this disused spinster of, I would hazard, 40 summers?
I'm 36.
To be your lawful wedded wife?
Oh, do.
Yeah! No, this is wicked!
Well, of course it's wicked. It was always meant to be wicked. All things vile and wonderful, all creatures great and small.
I must say I do like a bit of that on a Sunday afternoon when the kids are out playing.
All things low and ignoble, the Lord God made them all.
This is wrong!
Oh, you're quite right, of course. I should really have been a Nancy boy. So many DDs are. I mean, say what you like about buggery. You'd never put one's housemaid in the family way.
This is abominable!
Onward, heathen soldiers, marching as to war. Dorothy, girl? Dorothy!
Oh no, I'm afraid she's left you at the lich gate, dearie. But don't worry, it is a woman's prerogative. That's being late at the church at Egypt. Dear God, if my back ain't fair broke. Well, that's the last sleep I'm getting before we get into Lambeth Public Library tomorrow. Come on.
Jesus, lover of my soul, let me to thy bosom fly.
My dear cousin, I cannot thank you enough. I must confess my relief that the wretched girl has finally found her way to your door. To think that a daughter of mine has been brought before a magistrate for begging. But at least the court proceedings allowed your man to find her. And thank God she gave the police her assumed name. Let us hope that she is properly grateful for having been rescued from a life on the streets. Imagine my humiliation had she resorted to, had she become, oh, but it doesn't bear speaking of.
Well, my dear, you understand, of course, I'm very keen to help. Naturally, being your uncle and all that.
Cousin, Sir Thomas.
What?
I'm your cousin, I'm not your niece.
So I'm not your uncle then?
No.
No, I suppose I'm not, by Jove. Cousin, that's it, cousin. Well, being your cousin, what was I saying?
You said you could help. I'm very grateful. I lost my memory, you see.
Of course, my dear, of course. We must see what we can do. Now, first, I wondered if we shouldn't set you up as a companion to an old lady. Some dear old girl, don't you know? Black mittens, rheumatoid arthritis, dying league at 10,000 quid in care of a parrot, what?
Oh, I think I'm much more suited to being a housemaid or a parlourmaid, something like that.
A dash skivvy? Girl of your upbringing? No, my dear, no, can't be doing that. No, I mentioned your dilemma to my solicitor, chappie, and he came up with a brainwave. How do you fancy being a schoolmistress?
A schoolmistress? Well, I couldn't possibly. I'm sure no school would give me a job. There isn't a single subject I could teach.
What? What's that?
I'm not a teacher. It's not something I have any experience in.
Oh, of course you can, dash it. Where's the difficulty?
But I don't know enough. I've never taught anybody anything except cooking to the girl guides. You have to be properly qualified to be a teacher.
Oh, nonsense. Teaching's the easiest job in the world. Good thick ruler, rap 'em over their knuckles. It'll be bad enough to have a decently brought up young woman to teach the youngsters the ABC. Bits of Latin, a mo, a mass, a mat, and so on. That's the line for you, my dear. Schoolmistress. You're cut out for it.
Oh, I suppose I could try.
That's the spirit. Now I'll talk to my solicitor chappie when I'm back from the shooting and we'll see what he can set up. Meanwhile, you stay quietly here, you have the run of the house. If you need anything, speak to my man or any of the servants. Plenty of time to get on with your sewing and such like. What?
A private school in the suburbs run by a Mrs. Creevy. The pay sounds very low indeed, but I take comfort from the fact that she'll have her board and lodging. If she were brought before the magistrate for begging again, I don't think I could bear the shame.
I hope you and me are going to get on well together, Miss Milgram.
Yes,
And I hope I'm not going to have the same nasty business with you as I did with my last assistant. Miss Brewer, she was a BA. I don't know what you can have much better than a BA, unless it's an MA. It's a pity you're not a BA or an MA. It looks so much better on the prospectus.
I'm sorry.
Mind you, I don't suppose many of our parents even know what a BA stands for. They're not so keen on showing their ignorance. I suppose you can talk French, of course.
Oh, a little. Un peu.
Oh, well, that's all right then, just so we can put it on the prospectus. But to come back to what I was saying, Miss Brewer might have been a BA and all that, but she had what I would call a weak nature. You don't get on with girls when you've got a weak nature. The end of it all was one morning, one little girl crept up to the desk with a box of matches and set fire to Miss Brewer's skirts. Of course, I had her out the house the same afternoon.
What did her parents say?
Oh, they didn't find out, I made sure of that.
But if you expelled her?
What? Expel the girl? Turn good fees away from my own door? Not likely, no. I got rid of Miss Brewer, and fast, I can tell you. It's no good having teachers who let the girls get saucy with them. We've got 21 girls in the class at present, and you'll find they need a strong hand to keep them down.
What class do you take, Mrs. Creevy?
What, me? Oh no, I don't bother teaching myself. I've too much else to do. Takes me practically all my time getting the fees out of the parents. And that brings me on to a very important topic. Presently, I'll give you a list of all the girls whose parents pay on the dot. They are to get good marks, good reports, and you're not to smack any of them on any account. And then there's a kind of middling group, what I call the medium payers. Their parents pay up eventually, but I have to worry the money out of them. Spare the rod and spoil the child with that lot, by all means. But watch you don't leave any marks.
Marks?
Yes, marks. Scratches, bruises and that. The best thing with children is to twist their ears. Have you ever tried it?
No.
Oh, I find it answers better than anything. It doesn't leave a mark, and the children can't bear it. Now, in terms of this, let's go in and I will show you the girls in a moment, but we've got to settle your wages. Now, in term time, I'll give you board and lodgings and 10 shillings a week. In the holidays, it'll just be board and lodgings. Now, I have the geezer on every Saturday night for hot baths. Well, I generally do, as long as the fees are coming in regular. And mind you, don't go burning the gas in your bedroom half the night, if you please. Keep in mind, I can tell what time you turn it off by the crack under your door. Shall we go in and I'll start you with the girls? Stand up, girls. We shall start with the morning prayer. Almighty and everlasting Father, we beseech thee that our studies this day may be graced by thy divine guidance. Make us to conduct ourselves quietly and obediently. Look down on this school and make it to prosper, so that it may grow in numbers and be a good example to the neighbourhood, and not a disgrace, like some schools of which thou knowest, O Lord. For Jesus Christ's sake, our Lord, Amen. Sit down, girls. Now, Mavis Williams, tell us who composed that prayer for the school.
You did, Mum.
Correct. Now, girls, this is your new teacher, Miss Milborough. As you know, Miss Brewer had to leave us all of a sudden, because she was offered a very high post at the University of Cambridge, all of a sudden like. And a hard job I've had of it, trying to find a new teacher. I had 73 applications before I saw Miss Milborough here, and I had to turn them all down because their qualifications just wasn't high enough. Now you remember that, all of you, and tell your parents. 73 applications. Now, Miss Milborough's going to take you in French, Latin, geography, history, mathematics, English literature and composition, spelling, grammar, handwriting and freehand composition. Now, girls, what's the first lesson on your timetable this morning?
History, Mum.
Right. Now you girls just do your best and show Miss Milborough that all the trouble and expense we've taken over you hasn't been wasted. You'll find they're a sharp lot of girls when they try.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
And you girls just behave yourselves, do you hear me? Don't go trying it on like you did with Miss Brewer, because if I hear any noise coming out of this classroom, there'll be trouble for somebody.
Right, what exactly were you doing with Miss Brewer? I mean, what period had you got to? Was this the textbook? The 100-page history of Britain, was this it? Tell me some of the names of the people you were learning about in your last history lesson.
It was about the ancient Britons.
Columbus.
Napoleon. Oh, Napoleon. Oh, let's see. After the French Revolution was over, the self-styled Napoleon Bonaparte attempted to set up his sway. Though he won a few victories against the continental troops, he soon met more than his match in the thin red line at Waterloo, where 50,000 Britons put to flight 70,000 Frenchmen for the Prussians, our allies, arrived too late for war. We now come on to the Great Reform Bill of 1832. Can anyone tell me when the motor car was invented?
About 1,000 years ago, miss.
And where was it invented?
In England, miss. Father said England invented everything.
Wait, I think we'd better go through the subjects and find out what stage you're at. Latin, can anyone tell me how to say I love you in Latin? Thank you to see me.
I'm sorry I took so long to get round to it. The bastards, you know, they take up so much of one's time.
Who's not your children today?
Oh, just a friend, you know.
What was your journey like?
Oh, frightful. I was stuck at some railway junction for a couple of hours. You wouldn't think it was March. It was perishing cold, and I hadn't bothered to bring an overcoat. No buffet, not even a waiting room. And then it began to rain.
Oh, poor you.
Well, anyway, I found the place eventually. Depressing, these western suburbs, aren't they? Well, by the way, should I be calling you Dorothy or Ella?
Oh, Dorothy. Mrs. Creevy and the children never call me anything but Miss Milborough. Hardly anyone's used my real first name since I left home.
I mean, what about... Well, haven't you made any friends?
Or one, Miss Beaver. I met her at the public library. It's the only place apart from my room that doesn't cost money to go to. Miss Beaver is a teacher too, although she's been at it for 20 years. She has what she calls rooms, or bedsit really. And I go there and we have an illicit cup of tea.
Illicit? In her own home?
Oh, her landlady's a bit of a tyrant. Doesn't really approve of visitors.
So, are you preparing all your little treasures for public school and university?
These children come from bookless homes. The age range is simply impossible. The oldest is 15, the youngest hardly more than a baby. Oh, you wouldn't believe how ignorant they are. And I hardly anything to work with. There are no textbooks.
Well, at my school it was all about being popular and good at games. Not much learning went on, as I recall, unless you were cramming.
You went to a private school. Even if you didn't bother to study, you still picked up some idea of literature and history and geography. This place is like something out of Dickens. Its whole purpose is to grab fees from the parents. The girls are taught neat handwriting by copying out of books. They have no idea of the meaning. Handwriting, just enough arithmetic to help their father in his shop, a few French phrases to impress the aunts and uncles, and that's it. That's all the parents want. That's all Mrs. Creevy wants.
Your father misses you.
He spoke to you?
Oh, good heavens, no. I'm persona non grata around the church precincts. No, I got your address and so on from a friend of yours.
Oh, you must mean Delia?
Yes, Delia, indeed.
Father wrote to me at last. He seems to have forgiven me for my breakdown, or whatever it was. I think he imagines I'm somewhere like Cheltenham Ladies' College.
Well, he'd gladly have you home again if it were not for the scandal. His meals are never punctual nowadays, apparently.
He seems to suggest in the letter that he wishes I was there to help him. What does he say about me?
Well, he puts it out that you had to go away, as he put it, to recuperate from a slight illness. You'll be surprised to hear one thing. He's been obliged to pay off all his debts. I'm told the tradesman rose as a body and held what was practically a bankruptcy meeting in the rectory. That's progress for you. That's democracy, he was heard to complain. You evidently were the only one to keep the tradesman at bay.
Is there still talk about us? You and I mean.
Well, the theory that you and I eloped together has been discredited, or at least shelved. But you must, they feel, have done something scandalous. You know, a young woman disappears suddenly, almost literally a moonlight flip. So there must be a man involved. That's how the provincial mind works. I need not tell you that I have been contradicting the whole story with the utmost vigour.
You shouldn't have kissed me like that, not where someone could see.
Well, I don't see how that makes much difference.
People would jump in and call me if I wanted to be kissed. That's a difference. That's what Mrs. Semple would think anyway.
Well, anyway, I managed to call her that disgusting hag and give her a piece of my mind. Not that it did much good. The woman is simply subhuman. All I could get from her was hypocritical snivellings about poor Dorothy. Well, anyway, you know, I do think people are beginning to forget. I mean, after all, nothing was proven.
Well, perhaps a little more time. I'll write to Father.
Forgive my morbid fascination, but what was it like, being on the streets and so on?
Oh, it was beastly, but it doesn't matter.
It wouldn't matter to me.
Not now it's over. I mean, being on the streets and hungry and dirty all the time and sleeping on park benches, well, it's dreadful at the time, but there is a sense in which it doesn't matter.
Why?
Because through it, I've lost my faith. I can't pray anymore. That's the important thing. That's the only thing that's really happened.
Well, when did you decide this?
I didn't decide as such. I mean, being on the streets and arrested for begging and so on, it's like you being something at a railway junction with no overcoat. It's disagreeable at the time.
I should say.
Once it's over, you forget about it soon enough. A bath, a change of clothes, a hot meal, and it's in the past. But for me, something changed in my mind. Perhaps to do with the people I saw, the way they were, the way they had been treated, their destiny, if you can call it that, early death in a pauper's grave. I just know now there is nothing else.
But aren't we supposed to be made in his image or something of that sort?
All men and women, children on the face of the earth are higher forms of animals. I know that now. I know it in the same way I used to believe there's a point in praying. Look in the face of the next tramp or beggar you see. Ask yourself if that person was truly made in the image of a loving God.
But hang on, what about redemption, salvation, heaven rejoicing more over one sinner who repents himself.
Oh, it's a beautiful idea. Like heaven itself. Wouldn't that be lovely? It's like, wouldn't it be nice if there were fairies at the bottom of the garden? But there aren't. They just don't exist.
Then why are we here? I mean, I agree with you. Life is just about getting as much pleasure as one can cope with, as far as I'm concerned. But when I used to say to you that I didn't believe, that's when you used to ask me, why are we here?
We're here because we're here because... Oh, as a soldier used to sing in the war. Faith isn't rational, so you can't explain not believing either.
But then all the bazaars and the fates and the jumble sales and rubbing Mrs. Pither's legs with deprecation, that was all for nothing, a waste of time.
You don't understand. That work was useful. I was helping people, and I'm glad I did. Even the church service and the Sunday school and the Mothers' Union.
But if it meant nothing, if it was all hollow...
It meant something to me then because I still had my faith. And even now, I see all that work as useful and productive. I was helping, I don't know, knit people's lives together somehow. And I do believe they were happier and better for it. And I'm trying to help the girls with this wretched excuse for a school. I don't care what Mrs. Creevy says. I am going to teach the girls some proper history and geography. I even bought an old copy of Leopold Shakespeare. I'm going to get the girls to read Macbeth. That was my favourite, that and King Lear. Oh, I must get back. I'll get no supper if I'm
Yes,
late.
I'd better get a taxi if I'm going to catch my train.
Thank you for coming all this way.
Goodbye, old thing. Look, don't worry. I'm not going to kiss you. Your Mrs. Creevy may spot us and dock your wages. Remember what I said about your father.
I will.
Dorothy, I am sorry, by the way. It's partly my fault, all this. I know, I shouldn't have fondled you. I know, not in front of the simple creature's blasted eyes. It was just a bit of devilment on my part. I didn't mean any harm to come of it.
Go and sin no more. Right, come on, girls. Let's see what you've been doing. Oh, very good. Have a look, yes. That's the one. Very good. Well, it's 3 o'clock. That's enough geography. It's time to play reading.
I want to know how that works.
It's Burnham Wood.
How that works and come to the castle.
Dunsyn.
Dunsyn name. Right, now sit round in a circle. That's it. Right, now Ethel, can you carry on reading Macbeth? And Mavis, can you read Macduff from where we left off?
Oh, I want to read.
Don't worry, you'll get your tenor. Settle down, girls. Now Ethel, from where we left off.
Thou losest labour, as easy mayst thou the intrenchant air, with thy keen sword impress as make me bleed. Let fall thy blade on vulnerable crests. I bear a charmed life, which must not yield to one of woman born.
Spare thy charm, and let the angel whom thou still hast served tell thee Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped. Please, miss, well, what's a womb, miss?
Well, do I have one? Every woman has a womb, Mavis. Let me explain.
Just you sit down there, Miss Milborough. Mr. and Mrs. Pointer and Mr. and Mrs. Briggs have got a few things they want to say to you. And just you listen hard to what they're saying.
I think I'm speaking for all of us in saying that if Miss Milborough knew that this play, Macduff, or whatever it's called, contains such words as, well, such words as we're speaking about, she shouldn't have given it to the children to read at all.
Yes.
Hear, hear. To my mind, it's a disgrace that such school books can be published. I think if any of us had known that Shakespeare was that kind of stuff, we would have put our foot down straight at the start. To my mind, it's a disgrace. And it surprises me. Only the other morning, I was reading a piece in my News Chronicle about Shakespeare being the father of English literature. Well, if that's literature, let's have a little bit less literature, say I.
Yes.
I think everyone will agree with me there.
Yes.
And on the other hand, if Miss Milborough didn't know that this play contains such words, well, such words as we're referring to, then she should have gone straight on and not taken any notice when it did come up. There wasn't the slightest need to go explaining it to them. Just tell them to keep quiet and not get asking questions. That's the proper way with children.
Yes.
Here. What's that? Well, of course they wouldn't have understood if yous hadn't gone explaining it to them. You don't seem to get my point, Miss Milborough. We don't want them to understand. We don't want them to go picking up dirty ideas out of filthy books. Quite enough of that already, with all these dirty films and these twopenny girls' papers that they get hold of. All these filthy, dirty love stories with pictures of... Well, I won't go into it.
Dirty, that's what they are.
We don't send our children to school to have ideas put in their heads. I think I'm speaking for all the parents in saying this. We're all of God-fearing folk. Some of us are Baptists, and some of us are Methodists, and there's even one or two Church of England amongst us. But we can sink our differences when it comes to a case like this. And we try to bring our children up decent, without them knowing anything about the facts of life. If I had my way, no child, at any rate, no girl, would know anything about the facts of life until she was 21!
No, I never did.
Edith!
Mr. Point, I was very
Miss Milborough, I'm very disappointed in you. Now just you go upstairs and pack your bags, if you please.
Get in the sack for reading the children Shakespeare? What a Swiss!
Oh, it was the parents, really. Mrs. Creevy couldn't give two hoots, but when the parents complain, that's different.
But it's not as if you're doing anything wrong. Shakespeare is literature after all, isn't he? Or is he?
Please, miss. What's a womb, miss? So like an idiot, I explained. Oh, I tried to be guarded about it, of course. But the more I explained, the more they wanted to know. And well, some of the older girls, considering the streets they live on, if you ask me, they jolly well ought to know. But the parents didn't see it like that.
So you got the sack? Well, you've had some topping adventures, haven't you?
One way of looking at it. Now, to get on the costumes, an historical pageant of Britain.
Can I be Boadicea? I think she's so romantic.
Oh, I don't see why not. Surrendering to the Romans, something like that.
Surrendering? Oh, I say.
Stop it.
Is that what she did? Did she surrender to Julius Caesar?
I don't know. Oh, I'll look it up. Well, toga's relatively easy, thankfully. Oh, and we'll end with the Duke of Wellington and the thin red line.
He'll need a pair of those jackboot things.
Oh, jackboots. Oh, I'll do those. Well, assuming they don't trigger another bout of my magnesia, as Charlie put it.
Who's Charlie?
Just someone I met.
Never you mind, girl. Never you mind.
Anyone important?
I don't know. Oh, why don't you start in your costume for Boadicea?
Right, you are. Might she wear some kind of tunic? Something quite short, perhaps.
Right, but don't get too daring. Bear in mind recent events. I shudder to think what father would make of any more scandal.
I know who would make the perfect Duke of Wellington.
Who?
Freddie.
Freddie?
He's your friend too. Don't tell me you always addressed him as Mr. Warburton.
Oh, so you're on first name terms?
Well, yes, actually. We got to know each other quite well while you were away. He asked for your address, and that's how we got to talking. Anyway, he's asked me to marry him.
He's what?
He's asked me to marry him.
When? I mean, when did he ask you?
After the dance at Easter.
He's so much older than you are. He's got 3 children. Well, I assume you refused. What did he say when you...
I didn't refuse exactly. I said I'd think it over. Consider his proposal, as it were.
Well, it's up to you, of course.
Oh, I know it's not love at first sight and all that, but I don't want to end up living with Mama and Papa forever, and I don't want to end up an old maid.
Do you love him?
Well, he's great fun, and we've become great friends, and he simply adores me. He told me so.
Has he... Well, I mean, I know him of old, and he always...
Oh, he tries it on all the time, actually. And I wouldn't mind. I mean, somebody's got to be the first, but I'm awfully scared of getting caught out. I don't want anyone thinking I'm like one of the town girls.
Well, I'm glad you haven't given in to temptation.
I don't find it very tempting, to be honest. I mean, he's keen enough. And, I mean, I suppose I should be flattered that he finds me so attractive. It's the greatest compliment a man can give, asking a woman to marry him. And I've met all the children, and they seem to like me. At least one of them does.
Oh, Delia, my dear. You're a grown woman and you certainly know your own mind, and I know you've no form of independence and he has a private income. But there is this dreadful saying, anything in trousers...
To leave the home, I know. That's why I'm still considering it. Anyway, what did your father say when you finally got home?
Nothing very much.
He's not going to be around forever, you know. And if what you say about his investments are true, then he won't leave you with a penny. Once he's gone, you'll be out on your ear with no thanks from the church.
So, here you are at last. Did you have a good journey? What made you take it into your head to run away like that?
I told you, Father, I lost my memory. You still don't believe me.
When you've taken your bag upstairs, just bring your typewriter down here, would you? I want you to type out my sermon.
Yes, Father.
And let's face it, he's not going to get any easier to live with as he gets older, and you're not always going to be in your 30s. So what can you do except run girl guides and visit the sick and dreary of the parish and organise perishing pageants and jumble sales for the church organ fund year after year until you kick the bucket with not even £5 to leave to the cat's
Why
home?
don't you go? It's getting late. I'll finish up here. We can have another go tomorrow evening.
I will, if you don't mind. Freddie said about popping into his on the way home from nightcap.
No, thank you. Don't be a gooseberry.
Good night, then. Dorothy, those things I just said, I didn't
Oh,
mean...
it's quite all right, my dear. We're both tired. Give my love or regards, or whatever's correct in the circumstances, to Miss Freddie.
Yes, I will. And don't stay up too late.
Tomorrow's lunch. Omelette. Oh, and it's early communion tomorrow. Breakfast. Or bacon. No. Sausages. Oh, bugger!